the first of many. We will be doing a Leviticus experience today. Our FOV will be 90, and let's see what we have. Cherry wood, that is man-made. Pretty fitting for the first episode of Leviticus to have a specific unpredictability to it, something that won't be repeating for the rest of the series. I see this really big spire here, and okay, apparently I have a mod that makes me have a weird thing when I press that. I'm not sure how I did that. Oh, okay. Anyways, this spire here looks like there is supporting some sort of something up there. I don't know. Where we are right now is a bit too low to really see what I want to do, but the goal of this series is quite simple. We are going to find a new spawn on Leviticus. When you die on this server, you are teleported in a random location at a random radius. And this location is not predestined, and neither is what you choose to do at that location. And that is the point of the series. Putting a destination, a point, a goal, a purpose. And in this case, I really want to know what's at the top of that point, because I'm already getting an idea that some sort of interesting build might be possible. I also might want to check out what that cherry wood is doing there, because that is not naturally spawning, meaning someone has realistically been here before. Let's make ourselves a little convenient bridge. Make sure our audio is working. Yes, it is. Yes, sirree. And let's venture up. There's an amethyst geode. We'll keep that in mind. In fact, if we're going to build walls, I do think that the darker scuff, whatever that outer shell block is, might be pretty good for that wall. A common idea in Leviticus is that you work with what you have around you, and considering we have a geode rather close, as well as cherry wood, two things that, well, one is more common than the other, we probably want to combine the two to create something interesting. Freshly planted cherry. Interesting. Could be the work of the tree people, or realistically, just someone making a base. I feel like if we go there, we are realistically going to find something. Is that a duck? Is that like an animal? That's really cute, actually. And here are the cute animals of Leviticus. We have lovely chicken, and more chicken. Very, 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 very pleasant. Our first order of operation, whether we're on Leviticus or a regular Minecraft world, is to get ourselves some wood. And thus begins the adventure of the Cherry Blossom Grove. Let's make sure we look out here, since people have been here. We want to know how, and we want to know why. Maybe they have other bases nearby. Maybe there's something that is unnaturally placed. There it is. Exactly right on cue. Some sort of building blocks. Someone's strangely placed items as if they are in a panic, maybe running away from hostile mobs at night. Interesting. The texture of the grass sounds very nicely. It sounds very complimentary to this grand experience that we have over this terrifying ledge. Something about its warmth is rather fitting, owing to the contrast of the endless void of silenceness and nothingness. What a beautiful little vision here. Let's turn on shaders, and let's get a screenshot. We'll post this in the public Discord channel, just to show off. And if I'm not mistaken, and those are my eyes, that is the 0-0 bridge, meaning that our spawn point is actually very close. Only 500 blocks away from that bridge that goes from 0-0 to negative 5,000. Very, very fun. Now we know Vixie and Dandelion Nation are responsible for that, so maybe this thing that's nearby is also responsible? We also know that there was a geode we spotted back there, so we can backtrack to our initial little inspiration section and probably use that geode, since it's more convenient. Shaders make this whole idea different, frankly, and we'll use these. They fit very well. Almost like a shining, daunting thing to be captured, like a gem in Aladdin's cave, waiting for you to snatch it and see the consequences. Considering we don't quite know what we're doing here at a randomly placed cherry forest, part of me has a bit of fear, and starting a series where I need to bring an inspiration to the table, a vision I see, also is a little, I don't know, unnerving. Not necessarily anxiety inducing, but it is a daunting task. We'll take some cherry wood. This is probably the first, and probably will be the last time I ever start off this series with cherry wood. If we ever do, it could be a good callback, regardless of if we're over the void or over regular seed. Down we go, get our stone, and we throw away our wood, and we begin our journey into getting ourselves prepared to begin building. It's fitting it starts with stone, because I think it's going to end with it as well. We need to have solid gray to black and darker tones for our little wall, and since we have enough to make ourselves an axe and a pickaxe, I think we have just the right opportunity to check out what we're going to make and how it's going to look over from another perspective. Presumably, that will be where they arrive, and they'll probably return to their cherry trees, or they'll find it from the bridge and find it interesting. And when they get here, they'll probably assume that that duck is the owner of this world, with a sign. Now I need to know what's on that sign. And they're going to see this beautiful wall over this very big canyon. We could even create stuff down there later on, but that might be too much for one video. For now, my only purpose today, and what we've established, what we will do, is make ourselves a wall on this cliff face. It's far too flat and far too conveniently placed for us not to. But for now, let's make sure we track our way over this dangerous gap and find just why there is a sign over there and what it says. More wood choices up ahead. We have spruce, it seems. Wow, the tree people probably are trying to diversify the local environment. I'm sure that these saplings are actually my own. Probably coming off of the Rose Resistance's base, as what formerly was the Poppy Nation is... Ooh... 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 Ripe! Ripe with cherry blossoms. First, let's gather some spruce. We don't have any proper rubies to trade with the Tron and Wandering Trader, but we have found ourselves a potential food source. If this is what I think it is, it's probably some sort of villager contraption. Leviticus often's progression will not be the standard iron to diamond to netherite, but rather it will, due to its lack of nether access and other limitations, be done through villager trading halls. Much like a competitive Minecraft server or a single-player world you don't care much about fantasy and whimsy for, Leviticus is a little bit villager-centric. You want to get the building blocks to make more elaborate things. Those are some stonemasons for you. And if you... That's exactly what I predicted. And if you want any sort... This is so fascinating. I have absolutely no idea how lucky we are. Oh my gosh. This must be... What are the odds that we found this? For one, we can set our spawn. Wait, have we set our spawn? I don't know if we have. If we can set our spawn, that would be fantastic. As... Walk away so I don't let you out. Setting our spawn would mean that we can die and restart and not have to worry about giving up on our mission today. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Oh, the joys of Leviticus. Now this is the actual purpose of why I made this server. Having random things to find, like this strangely planted water pile and what I presume is a plank someone walked to. What? Okay. Fascinating. And presumably, the server has a fishing location? Oh, that's fantastic. It looks like this might be a poppy-oriented location, as these poppies seem semi-artificial. Let's make sure we protect our cherry supply. Take out our little creepers, the natural enemies of the Minecraft player. We create, they destroy, but sometimes we destroy too. And here we have evidence that this world, this section of the Leviticus realm, has been occupied for a long amount of time. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's gorgeous enough to actually warrant us to get the different shaders to complement it more profoundly. I think something like, oh, wait, actually, I accidentally selected Astra, but that might be better. Yeah, that is that is gorgeous. That is absolutely gorgeous. And to change our perspective, we might see something more beautiful than we could before. And oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Back to 90 because we can take a brief pause without having to. Whoa. These shaders are heavy. And considering I don't want to. Oh, hello, you two. Is your trader nearby? I don't see a rope. I think the wandering trader might have gone to die. Oh, that's why we don't see a rope, because there's one here. And, okay, let's change our shaders before the lag gets us killed. We shouldn't be walking around with these in the middle of the night. I think our initial intention of Unbound will look best for this environment, because it's very subtly shading the crevices and corners, which gives it a sort of isolated and desolated kind of feel to this strange testament to Leviticus's isolation, its solitarity. I'm not quite sure if that's an official word or not, but I think you get my gist. Here are a bunch of villagers. Quite fascinating. Well, I will travel over there, and I won't spare any details. Clearly, we have a non-competitive player, because out of the corner of my eye, I view a realistically seen before diamond without any attempts to grab it. We have a base. This looks like Jason's kind of contraption. What is this? A villager trading hall and a witch? They've already converted one, obviously, but I didn't realize they would keep the witch around. Bet you have mending, unbreaking, not. Oh, even more evidence that our player cares more about style than function. Whatever this is seems quite fascinating. Is this like a skydock of sorts? Oh my. Pardon me, this is quite fascinating because I think with the addition that there are more villagers than we were aware of, perhaps there's a trade in here for rubies that could explain away the trade with that wandering villager, the wandering trader. Books for rubies, so unless our ink sacs are plausible, but I don't think that's big enough for us to get ink sacs to fish out of that pond. I am quite fascinated though, because otherwise, if there is no villager here that trades for rubies, such as a Fletcher and those big spruce trees turning sticks into tradables for the wandering trader, these cherry blossoms still remain the best theory to be from the rose resistance. Yeah, and just to back up my theory on the part of a non-competitive player, we have more evidence that down here has been traveled. I mean, you have to get from point A to point B, don't you? Oh, that's fascinating. Pardon my excessive use of the camera, but I am captivated by something that I know I could never create, as I'm not the person whose brain was put to task to make that. I know very well that a few months ago that was nothing but grass and stone. So the fact that it's completely independently of my actions or my sway turned into something else is frankly euphoric to me. What does this say? Not Seaman Simon, no. Seaman Simon was unlucky. Oh, unfortunately, Seaman Simon, the duck, the chicken, has died, and we have a music disc to listen to for Seaman Simon. But first, let's not destroy a memorial and make sure we don't get sloppy here with shaders on and lure this old destructive terrorist away. Look at me, I must be role-playing as a fascist dictator. As I just called a random thing I don't know a fascist. I mean a terrorist. Oh, you're gonna be a terrorist to my lifespan, it seems. But you will be a lovely succulent treat. Let's let you do a trade of damage, and we will nom 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 on some flesh. Remember, Valerie endorses flesh consumption. And oh no, I'm gonna do something I normally never do. I noticed I wasn't able to trade hits with the spider, and realistically that has to do with my network connection. So I'm not gonna risk it. But for now, Seaman Simon, in loving memory. I find nothing more satisfying than having an intention and it being disrupted by the whims of the world. Specifically if those whims are human. I like humans a lot. They're very fascinating. And I find it fascinating that this memorial here is probably the most memorable thing that's gonna happen on... Oh. What? This is very selective of how it chooses to be atmospheric. I like that. It's fitting. Well, this might be the most fascinating aspect of the video, and thus the formula that has just been established in episode 1 is already gonna break, because I am very satisfied. Thank you for whoever you are out there who made this on Leviticus.world, and thank you, Seaman Simon. I wish that when I found you flying high, you could finally rest in loving memory of Seaman Simon. Sit tight, sweet prince, for you will be remembered. Thank you for watching the first episode of Leviticus Nuggets, as I have decided on the spot to call it. I wish you all a lovely evening on your escapades, personal and public, as I believe that God is dead, and you are to honor that you are his replacement. Farewell. I will see you when the sun sets once more on Leviticus.